Welcome back to my life again. I'm here today with one of my favorite YouTube midlife creators, Davion. Davion, welcome.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks. We just had a wonderful breakfast at Broom. What'd you think?
It was great. It was solid breakfast in here in KL, and you can't go wrong with it.
What do you think about KL? I know that you are based in Bangkok, but what are some of the similarities and some of the differences that you see?
You know, I like KL because it's a slower pace, and that's the main difference here versus Bangkok. Bangkok is a big city, hustle and bustle every single morning, and you just feel there's a lot of life. Here, I feel like everyone takes it a little easier, a little more chill.
Yeah.
Everyone's just like calmly going about their day.
Speaking of midlife creation from Bangkok, I know a little bit about your background, Davion, and you were an entrepreneur before becoming a content creator. Can you share a little bit about your history in terms of what it took for you to take that leap into content creation?
Right.
Yeah.
So to take the leap, I always had this thought in my head of wanting to just try to do like food reviews. And I've never did it before. And I always watch other creators, old, young, you name it, right? And they were out there doing their thing. And a lot of them had like big audiences. And it always made me wonder, like, if they can do it, why couldn't I?
Yeah.
You know, and so finishing up with my previous companies, you know, I was trying to look for something to do to fill my time. And then I figured, why not just take a dive into this, you know, just make the jump and try it out to see how I like it and see if I can do it. And it all started off as a hobby, and I gave it a shot, just dove right into it. Just like,
what were some of the mindset kind of shifts that you had to make to go from traditional businesses to content creation? Was there any mindset shifts?
Though, no, there's not really much. All you have to do, the main thing is you just have to take that leap.
Yeah.
Right? Because starting a new business, even though you can do as much research as you want, you still don't know if it's going to do well, and you won't learn a lot of the things you learn until you experience it and you're in the fire. Right? Same thing with content creation. When you first start out, it's very hard because you don't know a lot. And then the more you dive into it.
Did you have any background in content creation before doing this?
The only thing I had was doing marketing and doing videos for my previous businesses. That's about it.
That's it.
Yeah, but I was never really in front of the camera. You know, so if you go back to my old videos starting out, my first few videos, they were horrible. I cringe at it. We're looking at it.
Yeah.
You know, but I realized, just like in business or anything you do, the more you do something, the easier it becomes and the more comfortable you become and the better you become.
That's awesome. What are some of the tools that you began with when starting your journey, and how has that evolved over the last couple of years as you become more of you are a full-time creator, right? So what are some of the tools that you started with and what you're using now?
So starting out, I didn't want to invest much, you know, because you can look out there, there's all kinds of different camera equipment, this and that. And then when you look at big creators, they're using like pro equipment, right? But at that time, a couple years ago, I realized, you know, the iPhone, the phone cameras, they're really good. So because it just started off as a hobby and I wanted to keep everything low cost, I actually used my phone. You know, my iPhones. I have two iPhones. I use both of them to shoot, and the cameras on the iPhones are really great. And so I started with that. The only thing I made sure to invest in was audio. Because my friend, who's a videographer, he said, if there's one thing you can invest in and you need to invest in and you should, is your audio.
I totally agree. Because
audio can make or break your video. So I made sure to invest in that at the very least. So my startup cost was just like $200-$300 for a pair of Rode mics I had at that time. Other than that, I kept to the iPhones because I didn't want to invest thousands into a camera. And because it would just start off as hobby, something to try. And I knew that, you know, in the beginning of anything, the first few things or first few videos, they're going to be really bad. So why do you want to invest so much into the first few videos when you know over time you're going to get improved.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, it was like working my way up levels, right? So I shot with iPhones for myself and my clients for a good 2.5 years before I finally invested in what I use now, which is a DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which is like a little vlog camera.
How about sound? What are you using now?
Sound, DJI mics, because I still have my other ones, and they're both comparable. But the reason I switched over to DJI mics is because it syncs
with your
my
Osmo.
Yeah, so everything is just more efficient, and it's just one suite of technology.
Yeah. I think one of the major challenges that midlife creators have is picking their niche.
Right.
I mean, I struggled with this too before I landed on midlife creators and helping them. How did you land on your niche? First of all, could you describe your channel to people?
So I have 2 channels. One, I do food reviews, you know, traveling to restaurants. It started with where I lived in California locally, and then it expanded to my travels.
Mm-hmm.
And then my personal channel, it encompasses everything I do. Daily life, now that I live abroad in Thailand, daily life. I try to do interviews with foreigners and expats who move to Thailand to find out why they decided to move from America. And I also just share like condo tours and hotel tours. And eventually I want to get into more entrepreneurship interviews. And those are my 2 channels. And how you create or pick a niche it's very simple. I always recommend to everyone to pick something that you already enjoy and something that you already do, because that will make it easier for you to shoot content. Because you don't even have to think twice about it. All you have to think about is turning on your camera and pushing record, you know, and then everything else goes. And it's also easier to keep up with your content.
Yeah, because you have an interest in it.
Yeah, you have an interest in it and you're already doing it. So it's a lot easier, and there's the barrier to entry and the barrier to keep it up won't be as much.
Okay. I want to talk about your other, you could feel free to make a plug about your business of managing YouTube kind of channels. But how did you stumble upon that? Even so, like we just had breakfast and you're telling me like, it's great becoming a content creator, but monetization wise, you want to diversify. You want to have sort of a link to an offline business or a business that actually produces revenue outside of AdSense.
Yes.
Right. So how did you stumble upon what you're doing in terms of like YouTube channel management? And if anybody out there is interested, can you just like share like some details about what
they can? I'll give you my contact info. They can message me on Instagram or my emails. But how I stumbled onto it, it was actually kind of an accident in a way. It just an idea just popped in my head after I successfully built 3 channels to monetization, personal channels. And then I was like, hey, like if I can do this, why not try to duplicate it and see if I can duplicate it in different niche and industries. So, and I had a lot of friends that are very talented and they have great personalities, or they have specialized knowledge that I felt could be good on YouTube.
Yes.
You know, so once I started thinking about that, that's where the idea developed, and I started just like sending my friends messages and saying like, hey, I think you would be good on YouTube. You should think about it, because for those that have their own businesses, it was free marketing that they could utilize for their, you know, online or offline businesses and get leads from. So I started approaching my friends, and the ones who did decide to jump on board, we did like I managed it with a profit sharing concept. So everything was based on performance, and you know, for me at that time, I just wanted to give it a try to see if I can duplicate my strategies and see if it worked in all niche. And fortunately for me, it did.
Yeah.
And you know, to date, I've gotten 8 channels total monetized.
Wow.
Yeah, and the average it takes is about 2-3 months. And to get monetized, you have to get 4,000 hours
Yeah.
and you have to get a minimum of 1,000 subscribers, and it's very hard to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm in YouTube groups and I see it all the time. People posting, they've been doing it for years. They have hundreds of videos and they're still not monetized.
Yeah.
So there is a method to it. You could get lucky and have one video,
Go viral.
but aside from that, there is a method to it, and I was able to figure out for the most part how to do that.
Yeah.
Within a couple of months.
I guess. Okay, so I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Yes.
The last question I have for you today is, you're a creator in Bangkok, based in Bangkok, originally from California, just like me. What are some of the benefits for creating content from Bangkok?
Right.
Thailand.
Benefits. Oh, there's so many.
I know.
There's so many.
Apart from the food, a lot of people are interested in knowing, like, how do you geo arbitrage? Like, we're from America,
Yes.
but you landed in Thailand to create your content. It's kind of interesting.
So my idea, I've always wanted to live abroad, and I always loved Thailand.
Mm.
So for me, it was a no-brainer to come back to Thailand to do content. And in my mind, my theory is it's a lot more interesting, especially for the US crowd, or even just like the international crowd, to watch something about another country.
Yeah.
Because doing things in Orange County is way different than doing things in Bangkok, in another country completely.
Yeah.
In another culture, different kind of foods.
Yeah.
And people are out there looking for recommendations and looking for information on what to do.
Yeah.
It's also a lot more fun and a lot cheaper to do content on a mass scale in Asia, and because it's also so easy to travel from country to country to country.
AirAsia.
Yeah, AirAsia, and it's low cost, it's cheap.
Yeah.
Like for example, 1 hour flight from Bangkok, you're in Vietnam. Total different culture, total different country. 1 hour flight from Orange County, or in Orange County, you get to Vegas. Same culture, nothing really different.
And very expensive.
And very expensive. So for me, that was just a no-brainer. I wanted to do something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, which is live abroad.
Yeah.
And then the content just helped push me to make that jump. And that's where my mindset was. I was like, hey, content in Asia, content in foreign countries will be a lot more interesting. Especially as an American, going out and doing that stuff.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and I hope to see you guys next week.
Have a good one, guys. Bye.